Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be taking a look at Fang and Beatrix, who are going to be getting their C90s. But with Fang, she's going to be getting a rework and her LD weapon. Now we're going to go over what exactly they're going to be getting with their changes, and I'm going to go a little bit extra with Fang's LD weapon because way back when her LD weapon was first featured in JP, a lot of people actually doubted what she received with her LD ability. But I'm gonna repeat myself, the same thing that I have mentioned when she got released in JP for my global viewers, because her LD ability and that debuff that she inflicts onto the enemy or enemies, depending on which ability that you use, can actually be very convenient to have. Now that debuff does have a downside to it, but if you are able to take advantage of the duration of that debuff, it can actually become a pretty solid add-on to what you are already doing with your team. But we're going to talk about all of that in this video. So as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Let me know your plans for the upcoming banner with Fang and Beatrix, if you're going to be pulling and or maxing out their kits. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys, and let's talk about what they are going to be receiving. So we'll first start off with Fang's rework. Now her skill 1 gets an additional 5 uses and now becomes a 6-hit melee brave plus an HP attack 2 times that deals 50% splash HP damage. The max brave down and defense down debuffs that she inflicts whenever she uses a skill 1 got improved by 25%, now being a total of 50%. Her skill 2 got an additional 3 uses and now becomes a 3-hit AoE melee brave plus a single target HP attack 3 times. She increases the party's brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt and now always initiates a knockback. With her C90, her EX ability now becomes a 4-hit AoE ranged brave plus a single target HP attack 2 times that deals 20% splash HP damage, increases the party's brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt, and initiates a knockback to the target. The plus version, once the Fang of Transgression buff reaches 5 stacks, gains an additional HP dump, now being a total of 3. The buff Fang of Transgression now adds a self HP damage based on the number of stacks that she has on her buff. Now her C65 got extended to 4 turns and adds party, except for herself, attack up by 20% and a brave damage cap up by 20%, and that does include Fang. Her LD ability, Aerial Loop, becomes a 5-hit AoE melee brave plus an AoE HP attack 4 times that deals split HP damage. She increases brave potency when attacking a broken target by 1.5. She inflicts the max brave down debuff, defense down debuff, and speed down debuffs to all targets for 6 turns. She also grants the new Devastation buff for 9 turns. Now while the Devastation buff is active, when she inflicts a debuff, it also inflicts the Daze debuff, which is a frame debuff, to the target for 3 turns, and when initiating knockback, it grants the Power Chain buff to herself for 3 turns. Now the buff Devastation provides Fang with a 20% stolen max brave overflow and a 20% HP damage up. When attacking a debuff target, she gets a 50% brave damage up. When inflicting a debuff, she also inflicts the Daze debuff to the target for 3 turns, and when initiating a knockback, it grants the Power Chain buff for 3 turns. The Daze debuff is a 40% brave and HP damage resist down and makes the enemy unable to act. The duration of the debuff decreases whenever you attack the target inflicted with this debuff. The Power Chain buff gives a 40% attack up and a 20% HP damage up. Now with Beatrix, her C90 now turns her EX ability into a 4-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack 3 times that increases Brave by 10% of the HP damage dealt after each HP attack except for the last. With the party having 9 or more total buffs, it changes her EX ability into the plus version, which adds an additional HP dump, now being 4, and increases Brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt after each HP attack, except for the last. With the party, while the party has 12 or more total buffs, it changes into the plus version that adds 2 more HP dumps, now being 5, and increases the Brave by 30% in between HP attacks, except for the last. Her EX buff, Sworn General, adds an additional self 40% attack up, now being a total of 80%, a 20% party Brave and HP damage up, and a party 30% Brave damage resist up. And then finally, her C65 extension got extended to 7 turns and adds a 20% attack up, now being a total of 30%, and a 20% party Brave damage cap up. So Beatrix and Fang worth chasing for in the upcoming banner. So we're going to start off with Beatrix. Now for those who already have a kit, you're basically just getting yourself a free upgrade, and with that free upgrade you're going to be getting offensive auras out of her EX buff with that Brave damage up, HP damage up, and she is also going to be giving you guys another way to be able to reduce Brave damage that is going to be hit onto her and her teammates. So that's actually a nice big plus that she already has. For those who do not know about Beatrix, she provided a lot of defensive auras. She provided HP regen. Whenever you use her EX ability on her following turn, her HP plus command would change into Holy Knight Safeguard, which while active, which it only lasts for 1 turn, but technically yeah, it does last for 1 turn. Now they changed it up a little bit where it will deal a 3 hits Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. Now it does get extended to 2 turns, but the thing is though, like by the time it is Beatrix's turn again, because she does get instant turn rate, it does actually revert back to the 1 buff duration of this buff. But this buff, for those who do not know, basically it just protects your entire team. If you are about to take a nasty HP attack that you know you cannot survive, then this buff will help you in reducing that to basically 0. So it's actually a nice benefit to have out of that. But again, you have to use your EX ability, and then you will get access to that on your following turn. So you know that can come in handy in those type of situations, or you can have it around in case you run into that type of situation. And then when it comes to her LD ability dispels all buffs from all targets, which is really nice. It does provide the party with HP regen, and she also gets a follow-up attack, which with that follow-up attack, after she acts, or after anybody in your team gets attacked, she triggers that follow-up attack, which dispels 1 buff from the target that attacked, and it does have defense ignore, which is actually really nice to have. So if you're needing yourself a unit that does, you know, different things here and there, Beatrix is actually not a bad option to pick up. If you are needing yourself a character that is able to like dispel, that is able to provide a little bit of offensive party auras and some defensive auras as well. Now they're not like the greatest defensive auras. Most of what she actually provides is just like defense up, but you know, she does have her ways to reduce the amount of HP damage via that attack, that HP command, the Holy Safeguard HP command that gets changed after you use her EX ability. So it's not a bad option for those who are thinking about if you should chase for her LD, EX, or just a kit in general. Now with Fang is a character that I honestly feel like a lot of players are going to try to downplay her, but she's actually not a bad unit. You know, she's not a unit that is going to be dishing out like a tremendous amount of damage. The biggest thing about her now is going to be that debuff from her LD ability. So that Daze debuff, let me just get to that real quick. So the Daze debuff basically makes it, and this will, like, everybody will be able to take a part of this debuff. This debuff makes it so that you will be able to dish out more Brave damage onto the enemy inflicted with this debuff, and HP damage as well. So you're gonna get an increase in the amount of HP damage, and it's a big percentage. It's at 40%, and it also makes it so that the enemy cannot act at all. But the downside about this debuff is that it does decrease as the fight, well, not as the fight progresses, but as you attack the enemy that has the debuff active. So with this day's debuff only lasting for 3 actions, you have to, in a way, time it out so that way your teammates can take advantage of this. But there is one thing that you can do, because remember, not all of Fang's skills is able to inflict debuffs. If I'm not mistaken, her skill 2, yeah, so skill 2 and her EX ability are unable to inflict that day's debuff. Only her skill 1 and her LD, and also her HP attack plus saboteur. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Please don't kill me if I didn't. And then what you can actually do is that Fang has an E slot sphere. What you can do is put a cracked Vincent Spear, which inflicts the enemy with an attack down, and guess what? Your skill 2 and your EX is able to inflict them with that day's debuff, because remember, as long as you are inflicting them with a debuff, it will trigger that debuff to also get inflicted as well. So it's actually a pretty convenient debuff to actually have, which is why I feel like Fang is actually a pretty good character to have as like a 3rd slot if you want to take advantage of that debuff that she actually that she inflicts onto the enemy. It's a very solid one. Other than that though, I mean, she is able to launch. She does inflict the other debuffs like max brave down, defense down and speed down. So that's why you have to equip that Vincent Sphere if you're wanting to have all of your skills trigger that. Not only that, but her LD and her skill 1, because they do inflict debuffs to all targets, or excuse me, her LD is able to do that. But when it comes to her skill 1, her skill 1 does inflict the target that you are attacking, but it does actually get inflicted to other targets, meaning that it can actually, trigger for it to go off for all targets on the field. So you have ways, depending if you want to inflict only one target with the debuff, then you use either EX or skill 2, excuse me. Or if you want to go ahead and inflict everybody with said debuff, then you can use the LD or the skill 1. So is Fang worth pulling for? It really just depends if you want to take advantage excuse me, if you want to take advantage of that debuff, which really benefits not only Fang but also the team. And like I said, it does have that downside to it, but if you time your attacks correctly, you can actually benefit from that debuff regardless of it going down every time that you attack said target. So other than that though, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.